forgot to do it again. No. What's going on? I caught off guard there. That's funny. I was building. What's going on, everybody? Let me mute this audio here. Nonsense going on in the background. Somebody's getting parking tickets. But he doesn't give a fuck because he's going to get as many as he can and he's not going to pay him, he says, which I think is funny because right now he's harassing the parking enforcement, which he called there, by the way. He called him there because he's he's having this conversation. You probably couldn't hear any of that, could you?
Engineers post that. That's beyond me. I'm not an engineer.
And who's in charge of
I had the
I have a feeling
I had
that
it muted out over here. I could hear
the
it. It was
Department of
great. It was
Engineers
hysterical.
for LA.
So he's asking about
Yeah, let's get
he's
this
asking
fucker,
about
man.
parking and why
Let's get this
it's
fucker.
selective
Yeah, they
parking
keep calling the
enforcement.
parking
He doesn't
for parking, and they're
understand
coming out
why
just for me.
Why there
Just 'cause I'm
is no
saying
parking
that, hey,
allowed
it's
on
not
the
okay
street
for little
that's
children to
marked
be
and
asking grown
signed
men
no
about
parking.
masturbation and anal sex. So,
And who
since
can
they
answer
keep
that
parking
question?
it,
I
and
can't.
For some reason,
But
no
this
one's
is
chalking
him
these tires and the cars are
talking to the
sitting for
parking
like
enforcement guy.
more
Anyway,
than 72 hours.
here, we'll mute this out
And so I have nowhere to.
for you. Keep monitoring it. He's been active this morning, harassing. He was just out harassing the security guard that works over at the cafe over there. But what's going on, everybody? There's Door Knocker. How you doing? Had an early day. Got back and thought I'd have some fun, do some live stream. Apparently, I really pissed some people off last night. Our fan, what's his name? Truther Cop. He was apparently upset for Jack Talcott talking to me and being friendly last night. So that was pretty great. And then Scott was having a hard time hearing what I had to say, but shared it with his audience anyway, and had some very awkward laughter as he was dealing with what I was saying, which I thought was pretty awesome. And we may recap that because his thing. What's going on, Hope? Oh, oh, you were saying you had gotten laid off. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, what happened to this economy? I thought we were doing so good, Hope. Well, Tim, I appreciate that. I don't miss LA, Tim. I really don't. But I hope you're doing okay in Los Angeles. Look at this. Selective enforcement.
A service call?
Oh, you mean over the telephone? Or
Yeah.
It wasn't over the telephone.
It was over the online?
No.
It's
What was it over?
It was basically like you, when you approached me
Yeah.
to enforce something, same thing.
So someone came up and asked you to do it.
Correct.
But they didn't
Here,
say
we'll
anything
see
about
that,
this
'cause
truck.
that'll be better.
Perfect. That's what I need to hear. Thank you.
I feel sorry that they have to deal with him, because no matter what you tell him, it doesn't matter. He wants to hear what he wants to hear. Well, Minion, thank goodness that's not going on anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad there's no riot porn to be showing. He's getting the ticket off his van. That's too bad. His fans end up having to pay for those. Anyway. Anybody see the news? I gotta pause this. It's too distracting. It is just too distracting. But I can't give me a second. There we go. All right, mute that shit out. Anyway, anybody see the news from today? Seems to be the big highlight. The trash comment. You know what? Let me do this, because I think we can put a poll up here. I'm curious. You guys want to answer a little poll question? I don't know why that won't open. Let me do another window here real quick. Because have you guys seen sort of the discussion of the day about Puerto Rico and being a trash pile? Has that news hit you? It seems to be all over the place today, and everybody's making a big deal out of it, which is interesting because I learned something new today. I did not know about the Puerto Rico trash problem, but apparently it's a thing. And whether a poorly done joke or sort of a bit that woke people up to what's going on, I guess you could look at it a couple different ways. But I had learned something new. So I thought I'd share it with you as one of the things we talk about. Also, too, is we got StreamYards going. In case you decide you want to get in on this and have a discussion, we'll post this up here. Just trying to pull up YouTube Studio here. Give me a second. Get this going. All right, there we go. Okay. Pin this comment. Okay. So that's pinned up there. Everything's going out good. It was made because there isn't enough landfill following all the hurricane. Yeah. But actually, when Hope, when did the hurricane occur? Because it appears that a lot of these articles that are coming out actually are from what, 20? Let's see, this one here. This article is where did I see the date on it? February 16th, 2021, talking about the landfill problem and the trash. But it turns out this Tony Hinchcliffe, he goes there along with a lot of other people. I had found that there was a lot of discussion about this on Twitter. And a lot of people were posting the same article from Global Press Journal. They were fact checking. It's from AccuWeather. It's from 2018, right? I believe that's definitely prior or before the hurricane, which I think was in 2021. But I could be wrong. I don't know exactly when the hurricane was. I kind of remember it. Do you remember it? But this was Hinchcliffe's reply. It says these people have no sense of humor. Wild that a vice presidential candidate, which apparently they were gaming and then doing this live stream type with the speeches from Trump's event yesterday at the Madison Square Garden, which they were all calling a Nazi rally, right? Kind of see these two knuckleheads over here. But but it turns out Puerto Rico actually does have a problem, and more people know about it today than ever. I guess thanks to Tony Hinchcliffe, who is, a sort of raunchy, what do they call that type of comedy? Roast comedy. So he did have one good line. It was this one.
Sorry, I listen to Elon Musk. I follow his lead. The world's smartest, richest man has my attention.
I thought that was absolutely hysterical. Democrats, liberals, progressives hate Elon Musk, which blows me away. And they want to take away your free speech. That's why they hate him. Let's see. I know. That was damn impressive, him docking that rocket. Privatized space flight, right? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if it was or not. Let me pull this up here. Because Grok, the AI in X is pretty interesting. Let me see here. Let's see if it comes up with it. I had it on my phone. I may have to. Oh, it's funny. It didn't. Oh, it did. It did. It gave it with a little bit of wit. So this was. I did a little research on Grok, which I thought was fun. Says, Puerto Rico, the Commonwealth that's like the USA's favorite tropical sidekick. Here are some of the benefits of Puerto Rico to the United States, served with a side of wit. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger here. It's an economic boost because when you think of the United States, you think of Puerto Rico, right? 1893, the Treaty of Paris, something like that. The U.S. was handed Puerto Rico by the Spanish. I forget. Anyway, I had to look that up because I didn't understand why we have Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico is a Democrat-run state, or not state, territory. There was the problem where Trump and I'm trying to remember what she is. Do you guys remember there was the woman that was just nasty about Trump and attacking Trump, and this was after the hurricane that went through there. I can't remember all the details, but somewhere in here I have the Democrat statement from Puerto Rico. But it does appear that the territory is run by the Democrats, and they're doing a lousy fucking job, is what it comes down to. But anyway, number one, economic boost. Puerto Rico is like the USA's personal economic pinata. Its economy contributes to the U.S. GDP, especially through industries like manufacturing, think pharmaceuticals, tourism, and agriculture. Ever heard of rum? Thank Puerto Rico for some of the best. I agree. That is witty. That's fun. Its strategic location, I thought this was kind of neat. So situated in the Caribbean, it's like having a cool base in the middle of the ocean. Strategic for military purpose. Check. Great for intercepting tourists before they hit the mainland. Double check. You have cultural enrichment. Puerto Rico spices up the cultural potluck of the United States, from music, hello salsa and reggaeton. Is that how you say it? I don't know. To literature. And from cuisine to festivals, it adds a vibrant, colorful tapestry to America's culture. Of course it does. Its military presence. The island provides a strategic military advantage. It's like having a floating fortress in the Caribbean, which is handy for defense and, just looking cool on maps. I think Gronk having a sense of humor is kind of funny. Pharmaceuticals from the cyanosis. Who would have guessed, right? Tourism. Ever wanted a taste of exotic without the passport hassle? Puerto Rico's tourism brings in money, jobs, and gives Americans a place to pretend they're on international vacation without actually leaving the country. How many of you have been to Puerto Rico? Apparently, it's a great tax shelter. I may be giving that away. Actually, this one doesn't look like it mentions the tax shelter. From what I understand, there's a number of YouTubers that have taken up shelter in Puerto Rico. Right? Uh-oh. What's the matter, Gra? Well, Gra, apparently the beaches are very exotic, and there's a good chance that your dreams could come true there. And you don't even need a passport. So, I start looking for tickets. Maybe on Wednesday is a good day to buy tickets. Just a thing. It's a domestic flight, from what I understand, what I've been reading. They have sports. Ever seen how Puerto Rico goes all out in sports like baseball? They contribute athletes who often represent the U.S. internationally, boosting American sports prestige. Scientific research. The natural environment of Puerto Rico, like the El Unque, I cannot speak Spanish enough. I wish it would say that for me because I'd like to. Unque rainforest serves as a natural laboratory for ecological and meteorological studies, contributing to global scientific knowledge. Human capital. Puerto Ricans moving to the mainland contribute to the workforce, building skills, diversity, and that spicy attitude that only island life can give you. I thought everybody was laid back in the islands, but I guess they are spicy. Shipping and trade. It's a gateway between the United States and Latin America, making trade a tad bit easier. Plus, who doesn't love a good shipping lane that's also a vacation spot? Now, the other one when I looked at, let me see if it's still on my phone here. Because it does not have the other fun tidbits, which I thought were really great. Let me see if it's still here. Grok 2. Will it do that? Benefits. Yeah, see, I did benefits of Puerto Rico to the USA, cultural enrichment, military, tourism, sports, scientific, human capital, education. Yeah, it looks like it's about the same there. How does the United States benefit? Oh, let's see. If we do it this way, just turn this off because I had this all researched here. Let me pull this up this way. All right. Oops, wrong one. Wrong button. There it is. The tax benefit. Companies get to set up shop and some sweet tax breaks. It's like a corporate vacation spot where businesses can relax their tax obligations. I thought that was an interesting way to put that. Where is it? Trade. I don't know. Can you see this all right? Let's see here. Make this a little bit bigger. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. There you go. I don't know why my trackpad doesn't seem to be working so well. Come on. Oh, 2 fingers. That'll help. Economic edge trade. It's like having a mini mart in the middle of the ocean. Puerto Rico can serve as a trade hub, though admittedly it's more of a convenience store than a supermarket in terms of trade volume. See, Grok AI can have a bit of a sense of humor. Hopefully that doesn't upset anybody that, they compared Puerto Rico to a convenience store. It's not very big, right? I don't know exactly how big they are, but who's leaving out interacting? How they conveniently leave that part out. I think KMC means interesting. How they leave that part out for their disgust for the Trump rally. What did Troy have to say here? I got to get back. What did I miss there? Right. Yes, there's been lots of conventions. It's close to the election. People are crying and complaining about so much right now. It's unhinged, and it's sad. Sooners, boomers. Ra, I think you're a boomer, aren't you? Stannis, good morning. I don't know where you are that it's morning, but you must be way west. Is it morning in Hawaii? No. 6 hours in Hawaii? Yeah, it's pretty early. 9:30. How crazy. Yeah, it's getting back to this. It turns out, with Puerto Rico having a trash problem. And I wish it wasn't the case, because I get reading articles. You can go through. Maybe I should repost that. They don't have anywhere to put the garbage. They also have a ridiculous trash cans. Where's this here? So 86% of trash is sent to landfills. They want to reach a goal of 35% recycling goal. Right now, 9% to 14% trash recycled. right? So you live on an island. You've lived there for a number of years. Apparently they have more trash than most people. That's in another chart. So the average amount of garbage produced per person each day, 5.56 pounds in Puerto Rico. The rest of the United States only produces 4.4 pounds of trash. Why do Puerto Ricans produce more trash? The article goes on to tell the story about the family who's suffering cancer. Apparently, all the trash in their they're blaming for the source of the cancer. But so this is the Global Press Journal. Where can I post this article? I put it in the. Let's see if I can put it up here. Put it in the video comments or the description. There's a link to the trash article. Okay. If you want to see it, it is up there in the description for the video. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. It's not where I was expecting those comments to go. Idnar composts. Certain things you can, right? But when you've got a lot of plastics, like when I went down to Nicaragua, they use bags for everything. So like the chicken buses, you see the buses running up and down the roads, and they've got chickens on top, chicken buses. And so people would have something to drink. It would be served in a plastic bag, tied off with a straw in it. As soon as they're done, they just chuck it out the window. I thought that was really strange to me. Cleanliness and trash is not a concern to people. They also are living every day to survive, most people down in Nicaragua. And but it was just one of the things that caught me as being extremely different, being in a country that I've never been to before. Chicken bus. I don't know how to describe that better. The buses are really unique down in Nicaragua. They're all kind of painted up, and most people don't have cars. You're fortunate if you have a scooter of some type. I say scooter because even though they'll look like a motorcycle, it's basically a very small engine, extremely efficient on gas, because gas at the time I was down there was more expensive there than is here. They pay per liter. Gas stations were always armed, guards out by the gas pumps. And then to buy things, Nicaraguans tend to finance everything. They finance everything from phones to scooters. I just got a message from Jim Jordan with NAACP. Look at that. Surprise. Constant bombardment of voting. I can't wait for that part to be over, that's for sure. You know, Party Bonza, I don't think that everyone in the world looks at trash and garbage, and, you know, Americans tend to get a little more upset when they see somebody, you know, throw a McDonald's bag out the window of the car, right? Because it's it's not how we treat the country. It's not, you know, we have more respect for the country and living in a cleaner town, whatever, you know, that is. They don't consider it that way, you know. But you also, like, here in the United States, you typically don't have cows roaming on the roads and you know. No, Hope's backstage. Thanks for letting me know. What's going on, Hope?
Hello.
Ah, is it working?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Hopefully everybody else can hear you. Should be all set. What's going on?
Well, I had to get up here and tell you how to say the rainforest name for one.
Oh, how do you say that?
It's El Yunque.
El Yunque.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find it back here. Where'd that go? Ah, scientific research. El Yunque.
El Yunque.
El Yunque. That makes sense. K. What does K mean? QUE? Por K?
It means what?
What? Yunque?
Yeah, I don't know
Can you
exactly how it would
translate
translate.
Damn it, Hope, you're out of here. No, I'm just teasing. No, that's good. I appreciate that. Did you, I know you said, did you work today?
So I went to work and then I was temporarily laid off till maybe the end of January.
So this came as a surprise.
Yeah, but they let 7, I believe, of us go today, temporarily.
What percentage of the workforce there was that?
Goodness, there was. No, that's probably about 7% of the workforce, almost 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a big layoff, you know, right before the holidays. It's Christmas. Did they give you any sort of inkling as this was coming, or just a total shock?
Total shock.
Wow.
Yeah. But I walked in and they were letting certain people go that I was like, this isn't making sense to me because of how well they do for the company. So.
Yeah, I see.
But yeah, I had to come up here and tell you how to say El Yunque. I've been to El Yunque. I've been to Puerto Rico 3 times. So.
All right. So you have firsthand knowledge. How long? When's the most recent visit you had to Puerto Rico?
2019.
Okay, so maybe 5 years, almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And the level of trash, was it a thing? Was it a problem then?
It's not a problem per se. It's more like because of the hurricane work, you know, you have to throw out all the stuff that gets wet and throw out the roofs and paint the houses again, all that sort of stuff. Like that all adds up. And one of the things that wasn't mentioned by Grok is the Jones Act, which states that if there's any goods coming into Puerto Rico, then they have to be on U.S. ships. So if, say, like if there's goods coming from Nicaragua, they have to be unloaded at the port on the mainland, reloaded onto another ship, and then taken to Puerto Rico. They just can't go from Nicaragua to Puerto Rico. So it adds cost as well. So I mean,
so Puerto Rico is not even an international port.
No.
Technically, is what that's saying to me.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, there is wasteful things going on in Puerto Rico, like the government is very corrupt, and they can vote for president but doesn't count for anything. There are so many Walmarts and Walgreens and U.S. stores down there that it creates wasteful spending as well, because you can buy the things relatively quote unquote cheap and then they get rid of it. But then you also have all the junk coming in from the sea that affects the beaches with little they have, because I mean, there's not a lot of beaches around Puerto Rico. It's all basically rock.
So these photographs that I see about Puerto Rican tourism and the wonderful beaches is just a small area of Puerto Rico?
Yeah, like if you would go to San Juan and you think, oh, there's going to be beaches everywhere. No, there's a very little, maybe 500-yard section of beach in San Juan.
Interesting.
So, I mean, it could be on another side of the island, but I'm not exactly sure where. But like,
right, the islands, yeah.
But then the mess from all the hurricane, like there were thousands of pallets of water that were left on a tarmac rotting in the sun during the hurricane.
Yeah, I remember. I'm trying to like some of this stuff is sort of coming back, the whole back and forth between Trump and this one particular woman, and I don't remember what that was about and what was going on, but I wish I could probably do a little research and figure that out. But
yeah, there was it was the mayor of San Juan, I think, that you're thinking of. She was very mouthy at that point, and then they overthrew the governor, Rosello, at one point. Because he was corrupt, and then another governor came in and he wasn't legitimately elected, so that he had to leave. And
hey,
then
can you hold it down for a minute?
No, he was in there for like a week, and they wanted him.
Will you hold down the fort for just a minute?
Oh yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on with Puerto Rico, and I don't know where to start with all of it. What's the draw with Puerto Rico? There's amazing food. The views are amazing. The beaches are really nice when you can go there. There's so much history. I'm not singing, Troy. There's so much history. Like there are places in Old San Juan which they have blue bricks that are on the streets, and they were used in the ballast of the ships when like Christopher Columbus landed there and Ponce de Leon landed there. So they would offload the ballast and then load the goods onto the ships to take back to Spain. So then they would just pave the streets with these ballast stones, and they've been there ever since. So that's really, really cool to see. El Morro, which is the fort, which was built in the 1500s. That's really, really cool. That's the iconic fort on the point in San Juan. And if you've ever seen, what was that? Despacito video, it was filmed in La Perla, which is outside of the city walls of San Juan. And the outside of the city walls was hit really hard during Maria, and but it's outside the city walls, but you can still see it from El Morro and San Juan. It's very colorful.
Mossad.
I don't know about that, Mossad. I was on a missions trip when I was down there.
Star Fort. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Dross says there's going to be a test.
I was telling about the history.
Nice, good. I was working on pulling this up here, But apparently my Safari is running into some sort of troubles, which I don't know why. It's telling me that it does not reset north. It's telling me that it's having some memory issues. And it's doing it again.
It's like raw having memory
Your
issues.
system has run out of application memory. What can I get rid of? Oh, Safari, 5.74 gigabytes. Okay.
Oh,
It must be jacked up on something. I restart Safari. It's weird. I've never known or seen of, Safari to take up so much memory in that sense. I wondered what was going on. Huh. Okay, we're back here. I was just trying to pull up Puerto Rico in the old Google Maps. Figured that would be an interesting way to sort of get a sense of the terrain and the beaches.
yeah. The middle of the island is basically all forested. Most of the things are around the edges. But I've been down from San Juan straight down to Calle, and I'm trying to see
I
what
see
you're...
Calle on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Caguas.
See, like here, the water looks beautiful.
It is. It's absolutely gorgeous.
And I'm sure the photos are going to be, the best of the best when it comes to the areas.
You almost can't get a bad picture in Puerto Rico.
Well, that's good. Okay. I like all the colors.
Mm-hmm.
It is very Caribbean.
Colorful.
Let's see here if we can get a sense of...
So I have been on the right side of the island from San Juan down to Caguas, down to, I think it's La Playa. On the...
couple of little islands out here.
Yeah.
It's
now
suffering.
that is where
the
hurricane came on shore.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it came west.
Yeah, and then you can see El Yunque right up in the right-hand corner. That's the rainforest.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. For some reason I was looking on the beach here. But let's see. That looks like nice beaches there. It's the Beach Club St. Regis.
Yeah. But it's not like the entire
Hyatt
island
Regency
has these
Grand.
gorgeous beaches. It's sections.
Sections, yeah. You can kind of see, city, farming. Sort of the way I would imagine, Sim City being built on an island, right?
Right.
There's a lot of farming over here.
Yeah.
So why, if Puerto Rico is having a hard time with trash, why doesn't Hawaii have the same problem? Why are these populated islands dealing with this problem so differently?
I think a lot of it has to do with that Hawaii is a state and Puerto Rico is not. So Hawaii enjoys the liberties of being a state and being incorporated into the government, having the right to vote, all that sort of thing. And Puerto Rico doesn't. Like, they are treated basically as third world almost. Their electric grid fails, island-wide blackout. Their You can't flush like any toilet paper down the toilet there. They don't have the infrastructure, and the U.S. government is doing nothing to make that infrastructure or giving them the ability to do so.
Right. And which I guess it comes down to, you know, how much of a responsibility is Puerto Rico to the United States.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like a Guam in that sort of response as well. I mean, we have a base there, we have a base in Puerto Rico, but neither of them are states.
Right. So statehood you think would make a big difference to Puerto Rico?
Statehood, or letting them be their own country, giving them that autonomy to make those decisions, pass or fail.
Right. So they're technically not their own country because they're part of the U.S. as a territory.
Right.
It's interesting. See, because for me, like thinking about it, Hawaii and Alaska being separate from the United States, what we consider the contiguous United States, right? You know, Alaska feels weird. Hawaii feels weird,
right?
Because you're not just getting in a car and driving. In Alaska, you can, but that separation, like it feels odd to me.
Yeah, because it's not contiguous.
And I've heard that from Alaskans that they don't necessarily feel part of the United States either, right? Even though they are a state, they have voting rights, they have all those other things, right? But there's a whole bunch of Canada in between. So it has a strange feel to me.
Right.
I don't know how else to describe that, but it's like you play on the team, but you never come out of the locker room.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
you're on the team, but what are you contributing to the team? And again, we look through, what the benefits for, U.S. being or Puerto Rico being part of the United States, and I get it. I get it, but do we need to just set them free to be able to flourish on their own?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Dominica, Martinique,
I think a lot
I would imagine this whole area being its own.
Right. A lot of people do want to be their own. A lot of people want to be their state. It's very divided on Puerto Rico. And one of the things that's being talked about in chat right now is how do you use the toilet if you can't flush toilet paper. You just put it in a trash can. It's right next to the toilet. Because sometimes you don't have water. We were down there in 2018. Right. We were on top of a mountain and it was 100 degrees outside. We didn't have water for days. And one thing I had to remember was it was a minor inconvenience for us for a week, but this is how people live every single day.
Yeah.
So,
which is not easy. Right. This goes back to the North Carolina conversation and how life can change that quickly.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
For you. So that was 72 miles from Punta Cana to Rincon. 72 miles there. So as an American, you can fly domestic to Puerto Rico and then take a boat 72 miles to Dominican Republic. Isn't that a thoroughfare to Cuba? From what I understand, a lot of people travel to Cuba, or back when you weren't allowed to travel to Cuba, they would go through the DR.
I heard that they went through Mexico, but it's possible, I guess, to go through the DR because they would go through Mexico.
I could see where you could go to Mexico is just as Yeah. You go from Cancun over to Cuba that way.
Yeah.
But you got Cuba, Jamaica. You know, this is all. The world is a big place, and then
Yep.
you have the United States, and it is what it is. Yeah, I look at this and I kind of wonder what happens in the rest of the world. And you seem like you travel a lot.
So I went down to Puerto Rico with a missions trip 3 times. I've been to Costa Rica, Germany, and Austria.
Okay. You ever been to Africa?
No, my dad actually just got back from there a few months ago, though. He was in Kenya, in the Great Rift Valley.
Yeah.
No, I want to go to Scotland real bad, and Spain. I want to go everywhere.
It's a pretty remarkable planet we have.
Yeah.
And then, you know, for me, it's the fighting and the world wars and the trouble. Something's going on.
The history.
Sorry?
You were saying the world wars. I said the history.
Yeah, the history, you know, it's who's battling who, and you look around and, you know, I'm sure people are just trying to survive wherever they're at.
Yeah.
And it all boils down, I would say, to world leaders and and who's in charge.
There's
why it's so important.
Right. And then in different countries, like I know in Ecuador, there was a severe drought this year. And so they turned off their electric because of a drought, which made absolutely no sense to me. But
yeah. I don't know how I did that.
Now you changed the it's not right anymore.
I don't know. I don't know what it did that it pulled out and it rotated. But I'm guessing that there's something that I'm not doing. See, it does shift. I guess that's Google Maps or Google Earth that's doing that way.
Right.
That puts a little twist on it, but no, shoot. Okay. All right. Yeah, hope. Thank you. It's like my point was it's amazing how we get to this place where a comic has to basically open people's eyes to a problem about trash.
Mm-hmm.
In a part of the world that is United States, but not the United States.
Right. And then they make a comment about it, and then it blows up all over Puerto Rico. Like there's many of my friends who are down there that I met while I was down there, and they're commenting, you know, that they basically hate everybody that is conservative right now and all that sort of fun stuff.
Really?
Yeah, because of this comment.
Yeah. And it was anything but a comment. It was an entire did you watch his entire that's not a speech, his roast, his entire roast. He was all over the place, right?
Yeah, he was all over the place.
But it's exactly who he is. But I do find it interesting that 80s comedy was the best. It's just different, you know. I'm not a
Right.
big fan of the roasts. But they are, like sometimes they clearly try to get as raunchy as possible. I can't think of the girl's name. Blonde woman who's been a part of these roasts.
Blonde woman.
Yeah, I can't think of her name off the top of my head. She's brutal. She's brutal, and she's funny. We watched the Tom Brady roast, and there's a couple moments in that were a little cringy, and it was clear that certain things were off limits, which was the Bob Kraft comments.
Mhm.
But the blonde woman, she was, I think, the funniest of all of them. Yes, I know she was in the roast of Tom Brady. And she's like one of the newer roasters. I watched it. No, not Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer's awful. This woman's actually funny.
Is this the woman that you're thinking of that like always looks like she has a wig on?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me see if I can find her name. I don't even remember what the roasts are called exactly. Jeff Ross, right? And then I guess now it's just called Comedy Central Roasts. But wasn't it like some old comedian that was a roaster? Not Whitney Cummings, Nikki Glazer. This is her.
No, that's not who I was thinking of at all.
She is filthy, but funny as hell. I've seen a couple of interviews with her, but she's been in a few movies. Inside Amy Schumer. That's too bad. Punching the Clown. Oh, so she wrote for a number of series. Well, she wrote her own stuff, The Degenerates. She was a writer, producer, actress, previous acting, Cursed Friends, Close Enough, Robot Chicken. I'm too old apparently and don't recognize any of these. Trainwreck, I kind of remember. Yeah, that was Amy Schumer. Of course. Bridesmaids. Judd Apatow directed it. So that would have been pretty good. Judd does a good job. I like Judd as a director. Those who can't. Yeah, but she definitely shines when it comes to the roasting. She's brutal. She's tough. I can't even play it, but yeah, I don't know how we got on that, but she's funny. Robot Chicken. I wasn't a fan of Robot Chicken. Where was that? Was she a writer for Robot Chicken, or she was in Robot Chicken?
I don't even know what Robot Chicken is.
Where did you see Robot Chicken? Historic roasts. I don't see it there. Why does that come up?
I don't know. I never brought it up.
Let's see here. TV series Robot Chicken. Again, I never watched this. Seth
Never
Green
heard of
created
it.
it. Oh, I didn't know that was Seth Green. Oh, and Brecken. Okay. Adult cartoons were never my thing, but
No.
I did the movie Go with Breckenmeyer, and good guy. Seth Green was fun to work with. I always wanted to work with Seth MacFarlane. I think he's really, really talented. A true entertainer.
Yeah. He has stories for days, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who knew that a movie about death could be so funny? But
Well, I'm going to hop down. I just wanted to talk about Puerto Rico.
all right. It was good talking to you.
Yep, good.
What's going on, Bullets and Barbecue? All right. We'll see you later. Thanks for all the insight, Hope. I appreciate the firsthand experience. Bullets and Barbecue, you take a lot of shit. Why is that? Or you get a lot of shit. Somebody reminded me that you're often imitated in your account. Why is that? I don't get the lore. I don't get the lore of. Please hold. I realized when I reset here, I lost what I was doing. I wonder if that had anything to do with what was going on with my Safari. Oh, by the way, I'm doing a test with the title. On this live stream. Just curious if it does what I think it's going to do. Bullets is a known doxer. Okay. You fight back and they don't like it. You want to come up and tell me stories, Bullets? I'd be curious to hear your story. I think those are words to live by, Bullets. Interesting. Bullets, were you making things up about my friend Betty? Serious question. Bullets, can I show one of your videos? I forgot all about this because I've seen this video. I just want to play. Actually, I just want to show 2 seconds of it. All right. How do I get it to hold on this? I just wanted to here. I gotta go back. Oh, sorry. I forget about this one. This one here. This was some of your finest work, Bullets. From a month ago. I hate seeing people suffer, but this is the world famous Lolo. Lolo used to come in and just nothing meaningful at all in chat, and then would go on Twitter and dox me and all kinds of shit she'd put out. And so she's been learning how to live stream and finding the challenges in it just like everybody else does, right? And she's a Hollywood person, and she gets very upset when she doesn't have an audience. And she thinks, which is sort of funny, that please read your previous comment. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Copy that. Well, you know, I will know whether that's the case or not, because I've seen that. And let's see. Troy, I don't see it. I don't see it. Let's see. If I go here. Oh, you're kind of bad, Bullets. You're kind of bad. Yeah, that's yeah, that I don't think Bullets has good intel. Huh. Interesting. Hey, Bullets. You know, I'm not even getting to the middle of this, but I see what Troy's talking about. That's not who that is. Anyway, don't attack older ladies. That's all I gotta say, man. Be better. How did the little old lady hurt you? I would imagine Miss Betty would be very upset. Okay. You guys in your chat drama that I have no clue as to what it's all about. Yeah. Okay. What's the drunk stream? I'm curious about that. And by the way, that's not granddaughter. I've seen pictures of her grandkids. She's very proud of them. That does not look like who you think, right? All right, you guys. The one, the only, Ms. Betty White. Longtime fan, friend of WYSIWYG TV. Huh. Bunny. It's weird how that works, right? Bunny, can you point me directly to a video that upsets you? I got it pulled up because I'm sure it's not Lolo's stuff, right? Bunny B. A lot of people that take other people's content, make it into something else. But I have my conclusions, Bunny. We the people only have We the People short. I got a lot of catching up on lore to do. Please hold. Oh, we're on the move. Driving around. Oh, interesting. Interesting. You know, these are the comments I find curious because all of a sudden the trolls are getting a taste of their own medicine. And I don't have just a whole lot of sympathy. I gotta say. So the one, the only. I'm guessing you're a sock for maybe reenactment. Start to make sense. I treat the accounts all individually, but I just find it strangely curious what's going on. The one, the only. Interesting. Can learn a lot from YouTube. Doop, 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 doop. Get back down here. Man, I'm slow. Huh. April. A lot of new channels. A lot of people creating new accounts to come into these YouTube streets. Find that interesting. Oh,
Yo,
Tommy, what's up?
I just want to know if you've watched that Going Clear documentary yet.
I did long time ago, actually.
So I wanted to
The
know what
Lee
you...
Remini. Lee
The what?
Remini Going Clear. Lee Remini Going Clear, right?
The
Or the
documentary
HBO
about
one.
Scientology.
Right, the one that was on HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it a long time ago.
So what's your take on that?
I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while either, but it is here on YouTube.
Is it? I might have to revisit it and take a look.
If you go to the stream I came up on, I left it posted in those comments. But I'm going to rewatch it too because, I mean, I'm not out here to bash on you. You sound like you're still pretty pro Scientology. And
I'm not pro Scientology at all. I'm
well,
pro truth. I'm pro truth, Tommy.
well,
There's
okay.
a difference.
Right.
I would expect
but
that
I mean,
you of all people would understand the difference.
I do, and I take that as I take that for what you said. But a lot of your titles, your streams, it sounds like you're in a conflict with trolls or whatever about it.
No, that's the title actually comes from Scott. It's his, the hashtag DOA, hashtag COS, hashtag Church of Scientology, hashtag Scientology. That's all Scott. He's got blue building permits. I had to shorten it up a little bit, so I took out permits.
I have an obnoxious bit where I verbally say a bunch of hashtags like that. That's why.
Yeah, no, it's dumb as shit. But my test was to see if it draws in his audience to, you know, have my channel show up in their algorithm.
Oh, okay. Not as bad as back when Truther Cop was doing his little thumbnail games where it would look like it's about somebody, and he's like, "No, it's not about them."
Yeah, no,
because my thing is, I'd like both of us to rewatch it. My thing isn't about like getting on people if that's their thing. I just want to know if that organization is truly doing nefarious stuff, like it was portrayed, if I remember right.
Yeah, see, I know that it talked about, you know, one of the things that you weren't supposed to watch it as a Scientologist. And I'm that person that if you tell me not to watch something, that's the first thing I'm going to do is watch it.
Except for Blue Waffle and the things they're telling you not to watch it because they want you to watch it.
Oh, sure. Right. But because it was Scientology and, you know, they're saying, right, you tell me I can't watch something, I'm going to watch it, and I want to understand why you don't want me watching it.
Yeah.
So I don't care who anybody is, especially something being, you know, deemed a cult, because I don't do cults, right?
Right.
So,
and there's details to cults we can usually see requires malnourishment, and a little bit of brainwashing and such.
Right.
Like, you know, in the state next to me, the Utah, if one of those multi-wives decides to leave a place and just, if the state police find her along the highway, they'll take her back to her husband. I always thought that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is interesting. And you know that to be true. There's a whole lot going on there, and I can't think of who bald-headed guy that does the interviews as he drives not drives around, but he goes to these. He rode around with a former cult member from, I don't remember the name of the cult. They were in Utah. Jeffers, is it? That's in jail now. And he rode around with this guy, and they went to like all the houses that they owned, and how, I don't know, people were losing their homes if the men broke the rules somehow. Like the church owned everything in their lives and basically allowed them.
I think they own the better part of Utah itself. Yeah. They definitely have a hand in the state police. I mean, off of what I was saying. And then the community that Mitt Romney is part of, they're the ones that are posted up with a portion of Mexico where just because of that location, they get in actual gunfights with the cartels and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, that's quite the culty sounding group too. But I think a lot of the nefarious, like I was impressed with Scientology countering the IRS. That was a slick move. I don't know if I would have thought of that. But if the stuff I remember about the Tom Cruise situation, that's what I thought was pretty nefarious. Whether it was just because they wanted him as their golden boy or what. So I'm just interested in your take on if any further than that was some kind of alter motive plan. But I don't remember a lot of it either.
Yeah, it's older. Like the Leah Remini series is much newer, but even that came out 2000.
And you never felt like they were doing you wrong or anything.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well,
let me see if I can find the letter, because I haven't looked for that letter in a while. I can't even remember the woman's name. She worked. I think she worked in Clearwater. She was the one who
same woman that left
questioned.
you the phone message.
No, oh no. This woman, she's been out of Scientology for a long time, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head. She wrote an infamous letter to Scientology, questioning some of the changes to levels, and what Miscavige was doing, because all of these Scientologists were having to go back and redo their services on certain bridge levels, and that caused a lot of people to leave Scientology because they felt that they had been taken advantage of.
Because if you had to go back and redo it, you had to pay again, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely.
No, I figured.
Absolutely.
Like, that's probably why they would have left.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to do a little research on that. But that was a problem for people because that letter, everybody was told, oh, you can't read that letter. You can't, but it turns out that that was exactly the cause of it. And that the writings of L. Ron Hubbard are what they are. And the claim that Miscavige is creating new levels in Scientology and whatnot to bring in more money and get more money out of people, which even then sort of doesn't make sense, because I don't think there's that many people that reach OT8, there's supposed to be these other levels that are coming that haven't been released, but it takes so much to reach that level that there's not that many people that have done that, right? So if you've got millions of people, as they claim in Scientology, you got plenty of money coming in. So
it gives me old Dungeons and Dragons vibes whenever you're talking about achieving level.
Right. Well, that's why it's called an org chart, an organization chart, right? Everything in the government has an org chart.
I mean, as long as you have a cleric in your party, a good tank like a paladin or something.
Well, okay. Yeah, see, I didn't really play I didn't really play D&D that much, but I just was doing a quick search here of org chart to see what comes up. Organization charts. Here's Wikipedia's org chart. Tabulating Machine Company. It's kind of interesting. And how their organization was set up. Every organization typically would have some sort of org chart, right?
Yeah.
So you have directors and then sales, and the L. Ron Hubbard School of Business. Have you ever heard of that?
No, but I can believe
Apparently
it.
that's, well, I know it's a real thing because it's in Hollywood over on what is that? Fairfax? No, it's not Fairfax.
I used to go to the
Trying to
guitar
get my
store in Fairfax.
Really? That Hollywood, that Sunset Boulevard one was really impressive. It's awful because I can see in my head the intersection. Is it Beverly and Franklin over there? Maybe. I'd have to look it up. But there's a building, which is the L. Ron Hubbard Business School. or business academy. And as I remember it, he believes to be the father of the organization chart, right? That's like, there's a lot of perhaps tall tales that come from that. And, but this is a sample of what an organization chart looks like. And then Scientology, let's see if Scientology org chart.
And it's on the tip of my tongue. It also reminds me of like another thing that companies do like that, but I don't think they call it an organization chart. It's like can't think of what it's called. You know what I'm saying though? Like a lot of corporations will lay that out.
Let's see how good Wikipedia is.
Only thing I've always been sketchy with Wikipedia is that people can change it. And I know there's benefits to that, but also there's cons too.
Yeah.
I guess as long as you don't make Wikipedia like your sole research.
Right. Yeah.
And I still I forgot to look into if the Timothy LaVey was also in cahoots with him.
Oklahoma bomber?
Or no, what is it? Anton LaVey? The Church of Satan guy. Yeah, I get a McVeigh and LaVey backwards.
Sure. I know an Eric LaVey. I wonder if he's related.
Oh, I saw you a wild Talcott appeared on this channel recently. Is that the first time you've ever talked to Jack?
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever talked to Jack.
Yeah.
It's,
he's cool, but the more you get to know him, the more he's a little out there.
Who isn't, Tommy?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's always exciting to see new interactions with Jack.
Yeah.
He's got that. He's got the what's it called? The dude thing to him. Kind of like Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
The way he's always
super
like,
chill.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought we had a nice conversation. It seemed to really upset. What's the story with that snafu guy?
He's really out there. I've only recently let bygones be bygones with me. He chased me 2+ years trying to call me the bad thing that happens to kids.
Yeah, I heard him doing that to Talcott too.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. He's one of those guys where as soon as you cut him off in traffic, he'll just label you the worst things and just template stamps that on everyone if they remotely come at you. He does have good intentions, but he's that.
Does he? I didn't see those last night in that live stream
on Truther Cop. Well, he also kind of goes pretty hard on Truth. I mean, we all go a little hard on Truther Cop because he's kind of like a Ray Romano, Kermit the Frog type. But I mean, his good intentions as far as even though he aims it at the wrong people. I had to get that
picture in my head. It took a minute to, yeah.
I mean, it's not like he wants to destroy the world. He just needs to aim at the bad people better, I think. That's the way I would be happy to consult him if he's open to it. But yeah, he does have a tendency to fly off like
that. I've seen him in some other live streams, and it's
so the one thing about it is
I always question people who spend more time talking than listening.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If you found yourself subject to him coming at you, you can be relieved that no one's really going to take him seriously. Like if he's saying you plotted to do a thing against whatever, like, well, he's boy who cries wolf all the time.
Right.
Kind of like how Truther Cop doesn't have much credibility.
Yeah, is he some sort of religious
to To an extent, but really, in my research, I've found some old videos and channels where he was kind of on the MAGA train, and I think he actually had a small-time
Well,
job
this
with.
is Snafu we're talking about, not
Yeah,
Talcott.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think Snafu even had like a light job at InfoWars for a while, if I remember right.
I remember hearing some discussion about that.
And then I think he was in cahoots with Marfugel until he changed on Marfugel. I don't know that story, but yeah, he's definitely against Marfugel TV now.
Okay.
But
Well,
I've found some
I actually
videos of
don't know
him
who that
doing
is.
interviews at some of the OG protests whenever Trump was first running, and he was on the MAGA side of that. But as far as where he is now and how he got there, that's still an ongoing. If you want to go, if I do go down that rabbit hole, it's still
Right.
ongoing.
I see.
But
Interesting.
I'll try and make time to rewatch that, and let's rendezvous on that in the future.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go hit up
all right.
Jack later. He's gonna go in. You ought to stop by his channel one day and see. I think the biggest thing everybody kind of is skeptical of is everyone does agree he's different as a host than when he visits. So you should try out like visiting and see how it goes sometime.
Visiting
His
Talcott's channel.
Yeah.
I
And I'll
see.
make no stance on how it's different to leave you unbiased.
Right. I also think that people's reaction to other people can also be different. You know, I heard, you know, the conversation that was occurring and how, you know, like last night, Truth or Cop didn't feel as though Talcott gave me pushback. But the thing is Truth or Cop has his beliefs, no matter how the conversation goes. I like how Christy B says trigger cop.
I never thought of trigger cop.
Yeah, trigger cop. Yeah.
But to go with
yeah,
what you're saying, I think a lot of Truth or Cop's animosity toward you is he's back under the wing of Carl and these people that are resurfacing. They've made a beeline right back to his chat, and then the cycle starts all over again.
That's his audience, so he's got to appease the audience. But yeah, no, it was interesting to listen to, and you know how they attacked Talcott for having a conversation with me, which is what Truth or Cop sent him to do. So I was kind of like thrown off, but I could tell that Truth or Cop was really upset that he did not have an outlet to hate on me. And I'm actually sort of trying to fix that right now, because I meant to go in and change that. But
so I can see Truth or Cop sending Jack here, but I didn't even think of that, because Jack is very typical where if he just hears us talking about a show, you'll see him go right to it like the next day. So I figured that's what happened again. But no, Truth or Cop obviously wanted him to come find some kind of heat to get with you, but I don't know. Truth or Cop's always got his own questionable motive.
That's sort of the way I see it too, and it didn't make any sense. I don't use this long enough to
golden shower production. No, I'm not spinning a narrative, Truth or Cop. I gotta be honest. Like sometimes you'll come at me, and then the next panel we bump into each other. You like got my back. You're all like supportive, and I never know which way you're headed.
Yeah, Truther, why did you give Talcott a hard time for being friendly towards me? I didn't understand that. Like, you know, you clearly had a live stream last night that wanted to attack me for some reason again. So I don't get it. Help me understand.
I'm not sipping because Wizzy's not a beverage. But no, regardless of your
Simping, not
chat, Truther
sipping.
Cop, I'm just saying that is a
That is
thing
funny.
I've noticed, even if I wasn't here today, that I never know what stance you're taking when I bump into you. But Truther Cop, I believe, is still a green name over on my channel, even if it's to troll at me. And
Yeah.
he's the only guy I know that would pay the membership fee just to F with me.
Gotcha. I cannot
Because
remember
I literally
where...
told him not to membership up, and he immediately membershiped.
Oh, that's good. I feel like Truther Cop is going to do and say the exact opposite of what's true, or this should be fun.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, the reason I got on Talcott is because you shit all over me, Wizzy, and he laughed, smiled, and gave you a thumbs up. The way he throws everyone under
I
the
shit
bus
all over you?
when he moves on. Yeah, you did.
He laughs
Right.
and smiles and nods to everything to everyone, though.
But that's
So,
what I was calling him
Truther
out
Cop,
for, not coming
what
over here
was-
and talking
What
to
was
you.
not true about what I said?
Go watch my stream. I covered everything.
I did, and it was all nonsense.
That's your gaslighting deflection.
I
No,
know
that wasn't
everything's
gaslighting.
to you, right? But what was I wrong about?
Everybody's ruining that term because they say it's happening when that's
I know
not what's
it's been gassed out. Or it's out of gas.
Yeah.
No.
And I
So,
wasn't
Truther
upset.
Cop,
I knew
last
exactly
time-
what Talcott would do. It wasn't. Make no mistake
Right.
about it.
So do me this favor. Tell everybody that's listening and watching, when is the last time you and I had a conversation?
Not that long ago, like a month ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what was it about?
I forget specifically this one.
Because you had a guy on your stream that you wanted to just have him give me a lashing. What was his name? It's a 3-letter acronym.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Oh,
ML something, or I don't.
yeah. There's
remember
so
his
many
name.
3-letter people around the community, but I think I know
Are
who you're
there?
talking about. Yeah, there's CBO, there's
No,
DJM, there's OTW.
no.
Who was it, Truther Cop?
Come on, Truth.
I'm looking,
You
I
got a
don't know.
memory like.
I mean, it's not like you've had a
ML?
million people on recently.
You guys were talking about the video that I did, the live stream I did, talking about cancer.
Oh yeah, the whole
You
AP
remember who that
ordeal.
was?
Yeah. I don't remember who was
Machine
on stream
lies.
now.
Thank you, Mo. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's right.
Mo knew it.
So-
Machine
oh,
lies.
Yeah. Of course.
ML. Machine lies. And it turned out in the end, Machine Lies was kind of like, oh, yeah, she's a real piece of work. Right? When
That's what you said I did
you were-
yesterday too. That wasn't true when you said it about me. So maybe you mixed us up when you said that about me. You said the same exact thing about me yesterday. By the end of the interview, I was like, "Oh, Truther Cop." By the end, he was like, he understood why I was upset, which wasn't true.
Which wasn't true. You didn't understand what they, because
I didn't change my position.
Oh, so you felt the same way, even though like you learned that what your position was based on your made up belief of what was going on in my live stream because you weren't watching it or paying attention to what I was actually saying.
No.
That has been your MO recently.
Because
I've definitely done it before, but I knew what was happening. This one.
Yeah, that's what Machine Lies came to the realization of is, oh, I didn't get that. I didn't understand that. I missed something.
Oh, well, yeah, he's behind on the lore
Right.
on the whole convoy side. So, yeah, he'd be behind. That makes sense.
It had nothing to do with the convoy. It had everything to do with what I showed in the video and what I was talking about at that moment. You didn't need to know anything else to understand what a piece
Oh,
of
I'm just
work
about like
AP
he doesn't know who
is
AP is,
and what
yeah,
she
he
was
just
up
knows
to.
he's followed by.
Right. Right. It's only when you were telling him what was going on and what you thought was, you know, the way you wanted to see it. And then when I got in there and introduced myself to him and talked to him and had a direct conversation with him and showed him what was happening, then he goes, oh, yeah, I would have been pissed at her too. Okay, great. Thank you for understanding. But not you. You still think something else happened. So that's
No, I
my
know it
issue
happened.
with
There's
you,
a bunch of
Truther, is that-
kayfabe bullshit that you always get involved with. You go out
Right.
in the street,
because
you get
like
some
to, you like to
kayfabe, fake
continually say I'm
drama.
a Fed. You like to make up all this nonsense. It's like, come on, man.
It's what
why,
you do to
why
people
that?
all day long. You just spin narratives about people and what's happening.
I
Well,
don't. How do I do that?
Another thing that's sketchy about the panel verse I've been seeing recently is you can speak straight point A to point B things on channels. And when they show you what they're getting out of that conversation, it's not what you were saying. We're talking, it's like, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
at
if you don't
all.
know,
And
yeah.
I don't know. Well, even when we were talking on my channel, Truther Cop, when you were saying me and Paul do the same thing, I was like, no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm like shooting it
Well, I told
straight
you
when I
how.
say
I
that.
also told you how it was different. I didn't say you were doing anything wrong.
Well, whether it was right or wrong, I was still trying to tell you that's not what I was doing. That's what and it's not just you. Like, there's people that I've said things directly to, and then when you hear them relaying what they got out of it, it's like, no, that wasn't even the conversation. And I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or if people are getting this delusional or whatever. Especially in a place where everything's recorded that you can go back and reference compared to regular IRL life. Grand delusion, anyway.
How's it going, Truth Cop?
No, I mean, I'm just doing yard work and you guys started talking about me, so I was like, oh, I'll jump up there.
I'll just leave you two to
Okay.
it.
Get out of here, Tommy.
So, is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, you guys were just talking about me, in a way that I didn't entirely see as true. So, just want to come up and clarify.
Right. Do you understand what was being said now?
No, I understood that what was being said before was untrue about me, and I just came up here to clarify. I was never confused.
Okay. So I miscategorized you as being a person who is making false claims about me and others.
What's a false claim that I made recently?
Well, your big one is I'm a Fed. I'm some sort of Fed agent.
I didn't
That's your
say that.
favorite one.
You said that you're not one,
You
so
have.
I just quoted you. I may have in the past,
You have.
like a year ago.
You've now taken that back?
I'll say that I'm more skeptical. I'm not sure. It's not written off
You're
yet,
not
but
sure.
I'm not
You're
sure.
more skeptical. You right. Okay.
I mean, you were talking about training with the Feds yesterday, doing training. What type of training videos were you doing?
Just about everything. So the federal government, the FLETC, the FLETC, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Brunswick, Georgia, is the largest federal training center for all federal agents. They go through the training center. It is a sort of boot camp for everyone from Border Patrol to FBI. They all start there. Bureau of Corrections. It's a huge property it's in Brunswick, Georgia. And it's a pretty cool place. It's the kind of place where when you go there, you can be pulled into training exercises where you might get stopped by a federal agent who you can assume a role, you can play out different scenarios, all in the guise of training. You can get arrested, fake arrested, and whatnot. But if you don't have time, for instance, you've got someplace you need to be, and you get a meeting, you shoot, whatever. If they pull you over, you just say out of role, And so that's like the safe word, right? And it's an amazing place. They've got all kinds of cool stuff. They had everything. Back when I worked there, they had the first live fire shoot house where SWAT teams would go in and train with live ammunition. They had I filmed everything from explosive demonstrations with undercover agents to I would do graduations every month for Border Patrol agents. I would do special classes. I was a contract employee that would get hired based on the jobs. At some point, I can show you like some old photos. I bought a Steadicam back then. It was 96 when I was there, 95, 96, maybe a little bit. No, 96. Because after 96, I moved to California. After the Olympics, I went and did a movie actually, and then came back and moved out to California. But yeah, I was a contractor, and that's how they had a staff of director producers. Artesia, New Mexico, as KMC says, that's the second largest. That's the other training facility. The main one is in Brunswick, Georgia. So does that make me a Fed then? Truth or cop?
Shows your Fed ties.
Oh yeah, my Fed ties. Right.
I want to clarify something. Yesterday, you blocked. Oh yeah, it definitely does. That's why we've been on Talcott's case for so long. Yesterday you blocked. Did you block Destroyer?
Why is Talcott a postman too?
Yeah, he's a former postal employee. He lost his job there. That's a whole thing. So, he found rice and letters. There's a whole.
Technically, that's a federal employee,
right? Yeah. Well, why do you think I'm on his case, dude?
Right. So
yesterday you blocked Destroyer and I.
Yeah, Destroyer's a piece of work.
Yeah, you also called them an extremist. I mean, that's it's more of your gaslighting, manipulation, an extremist. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How is
shows how little you know.
When you come into the chat and you act a fool and you disrupt what's going on, you don't offer anything. You can ask questions all day long.
We offered you Talcott, dude. We didn't offer anything. We offered you Talcott.
What do you mean? I remember there's a reason you get banned in the chats. You know that. Just like Telescope doesn't bring.
Let's look at this black bloc issue for a moment.
Ridiculous statements. What?
Do you believe that when the black bloc thing, the WYSIWYG, do you believe that some of those protesters were paid agitators?
No.
Not one of them?
No, because they're activists. They're LA activists.
Do you think that there are paid agitators?
Well, okay. So it depends on how you define paid. So we know that every time, like during these protests that they had, WYSIWYG not being any different because they made a lot of arrests at WYSIWYG 2. There was 20 some people that were arrested during WYSIWYG 2 with a number of weapons and whatnot that were discarded during the kettle. That they do a jail fund, a bail fund, right? And then they raised money for the arrested activists, like what Kamala Harris promoted on her Twitter years ago, to bail these people out of jail. They get released from jail. They don't get charged. And then there's all that money. Where does all that money go? Well, they use it to buy and make shields and fund whatever protesting they're doing. So is that getting paid? No, not directly. But there are ways of getting money through the protesting. Sure, it's incentivization. Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. So there's all these various channels through which the incentivization occurs. Right?
Sure.
You've seen these IP2
but are
streamers
they paid directly as protesters? I would say most likely not. No.
You seem like, let's look at IP2. I know you know a little bit about that. These people, they get paid to do the
different.
Well, right, but they're getting paid. They're basically paid agitators. No, I mean, like they get paid to do the most outrageous, outlandish things. The more outlandish they are, the more they act.
They're whores for money, right? But make sure that you understand. There's IP2 streamers. That is a specific segment of the streaming world. They're like a little mini gang if I could say that. But they're not, they're individuals, but there's like a collective, I guess, might be the way to put it. Because there's people like Scott, who's not IP2, but gets paid to harass people in the same exact way. So it's not really
that's
different.
Paid, to me, that's paid agitation.
But it's disingenuous to call him IP2. You get that?
I'm not saying. No, I know he's not IP2. I didn't say that.
Yeah. So that's it's funny though. Like this IP2 gets it's used a lot irresponsibly, I would say. But
no, I was just using it as I was just using it as a perspective.
They're selling themselves for, you know, to get money to do these outrageous things, and it pays, right?
Right. So, you know, if all this stuff that we've been given,
I seem kind of boring. You get that, right? That's why I seem boring, because I'm actually not willing to sell myself to be on the YouTubes, because I'm not. I can't do it. It's not me. I won't do that. I have too much self respect to be something that I'm not for money.
Well, yeah, but then emotions get involved, and, you know, a little bit of misdirection here. Carl's really good at emotional manipulation subtly, like people like that. They're sitting in the chats. So
Carl, a chatter?
Oh, yeah.
Like you're taking emotional manipulation from a person who chats, types in a.
You don't think
chat?
You think that doesn't have an impact on the streamer if they aren't aware? Oh, okay. No impact.
Well, no, I didn't say that, because I watched the same thing happen with Scott. But like when you know the name and the person, you know, like none of that has any effect for me, right? When you know, like I see Carl in your chat, like doesn't bother me one bit. Carl can say all the stupid shit he wants.
I'm not talking about Mike. See, you make a lot of assumptions about everything.
I'm just using that. I'm using that as an example. Can I do that? Is that allowed? He was in your chat last night.
No, I'm talking about people in your chat while you're streaming, or whoever is streaming.
No, I understand that.
The manipulation of the chat. So, because this is all former military and technology that we have. The military gets like way advanced technology, and then they roll it out to the public. It's not a joke.
Yeah, I get it.
And they know how to control foreign populations with this information.
It's a live stream chat, man.
And when they release it to the public, when they release it to the public,
truth or cop
they know
to really go this far to get to this.
You don't see the psychological warfare playing out and how we're being manipulated against each other to go fight in the streets. Oh, you don't see that.
No.
You firsthand.
I don't
you
see that.
Firsthand have been out in the streets, a victim of this violence, and you don't see how it's incentivized. But that's just one part. The super chats, the donos coming in from anonymous sources.
No.
That doesn't happen.
You want to draw some conclusion there, but I will give you that what I see on social media and the effects that a social media post can have on people can absolutely do that.
It all collectively does it. We're immersed in it. It's fire hosing is what they call it. We're so inundated with propaganda that we don't even know where it's coming from. It's coming from everywhere.
I don't think the format of the chat is capable of doing that.
I'm not just talking about the chat as its own thing by itself.
I know what he's doing.
It all comes together.
No, I disagree. I don't think that the chat has that much effect. Now, I will say that the chat for Scott, for instance, plays a big part. He definitely doesn't consider the things that come in through his chat before he repeats and follows up, and his chat very much guides him.
Yeah.
Now, there might have been a point early on that may have had some effect on me, in the sense of I learned to then spot it and learn from those lessons where you can be misdirected or misguided by the chat, and you have to be careful of paying attention to where those messages and who it's coming from and what that information is.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I get it.
Especially early on. It's like you by now, of course, like you've kind of maintained it, but especially when people first get into streaming.
I think every streamer goes through that learning curve.
Right. But some people don't escape it. They go into it fully and they get directed by their chat entirely. They get directed by anonymous donations to do things, to be somewhere.
IP2, definitely. But that is their...
That's the most obvious example.
That is their business. That's their business, is to do that. Right?
Right. And a lot of these people, their business, when they go to protests, I'm not talking about you, so don't take it personal. All these, like J6 or whatever, all these different protesters go out there, and live streamers who have never been political activists are suddenly there, right? Elisha Schaefer and all these other people. There's so many people, especially on that day. And they're all getting these donos from anonymous sources, and there's hundreds of them.
Wait, you're saying Elijah Schaefer as a YouTuber, live streamer at J6?
Mm-hmm.
And like he's new to that at that time?
Yeah, he doesn't go out in the street too much. Like to protests and events, he's not an activist.
What?
He's an activist, like at protests all the time?
Well,
all I've ever seen of him is he's sitting in the studio talking.
He had experience being out on the street. Yes.
But like that one big dude with he used to put his microphone on ridiculous objects. I forget his name. They were close for a while, him and this guy. But like, like a man in the street, like a funny way.
Yeah, no, I'm trying. He's an LA guy. Yeah.
Remember one time he had like on the end of the ladle of the microphone.
Why can't I think of his name?
It's been so long since I've even thought of that dude. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, he does like some different stuff now. I see him pop up occasionally. I can't think of his name. He's funny. He's funny. I guess what I don't understand, and I understand what you're saying, right? I disagree. I don't think it has the effect that you think it does. And I believe what you're doing is you're looking for a way to not justify, but it feels like you're trying to find a reason for these things. And it's not that complicated, man.
Yeah, but let
me give you this.
I've been firsthand. I've had the experience with you believing misinformation about me without watching the video. You didn't watch the video before we talked. I talked to you about what that video was yesterday. You said you'd watch the video, and then we talked, and I had to explain it to you. That wasn't the case.
What video were we talking about?
The Ripta one.
Oh, that's years ago.
Yeah, but this is you did what I'm talking about to me. You believed information from some source, I don't know where, because you hadn't watched the video, and you believed something, and you were like against me for a moment there because
I wasn't wrong.
I don't know where you got
your video. Your video made a claim, just like you said about Ripta. That's not true.
And then you watched the video. You didn't watch the video until you, dude. What do we need to watch the video? Well, obviously, I said he was a Secret Service agent from the future. What did I do? What did I do?
Obviously, right?
Obviously, it was a joke.
Obviously,
that was yes.
Okay.
And then when you
we've had this argument before.
No, we've never really talked about it.
We have. We've talked about it numerous times.
Yeah, no, but not from this perspective.
So let me give you this as sort of an to set a standard of your belief. Can you tell me why a ton of people, I don't even know how many, I don't want to say a number, why did all these people show up at the Capitol on January 6th? What was the reason?
There was a lot of different reasons. I mean, that's like asking why do people go to the convoy.
What's the main reason? What is the number one reason a conservative will tell you as to why they showed up at the Capitol?
They believed it was stolen or whatever.
That is correct. right? Okay. We've set that we've set that as an agreement that is why people showed up out there. Now, what is it that you think happened because of a chat or chats on January 6th?
The chat.
How do you believe that changed or altered anything? I don't even know what your point is, but
we don't know.
How did the chats?
We can't know.
You're just.
But no, I'm just Wizzy. I'm not even saying that
to see what's going to stick.
No, Wizzy, you're saying it like I'm trying to expose some major thing at the Capitol.
I don't know what you're trying to do because you don't fucking speak clearly.
I'm trying to make people aware of the fact that we are manipulated at every level. The chat counts too. And these streamers are too. The people who sit there in the streets and they push out a message and then whatever their talking points are often picked up from the chat. They're speaking with the chat. They're bouncing ideas off the chat. So the whole system is anonymous chatters spreading information. We don't know where they are, who they are. We don't know where the money's coming from.
And why does it matter?
God only knows. Why it doesn't matter, does it? You know, when America's being invaded by every nation in the world,
everybody's anonymous except for those people on my screen that I know exist. You know what I mean? It's like,
right. You always limit it to a certain scope.
Look at my screen. You know, all of these chat messages that go by up here, right?
I'm not
right
talking.
Here.
You're not an activist in the street, dude.
No, it doesn't matter whether I'm an activist or not. Is that my Lanta Joe? I don't know my Lanta Joe, but I know my Lanta Joe's been around a long time. She's a moderator in my chat. God Rides a Harley, I've met in person. Minion Mossad, I've seen him on some sort of live stream
you know your chat now,
panel at some point, right? Eidnar, I have no fucking clue who Eidnar is.
Your chat.
It's my chat, but I recognize like Frosty Broccoli. I know exactly who the fuck that guy is, right? Now, he's not going to manipulate me. Hope's not going to manipulate me. Lenny, I have no idea who that is. Could be anybody.
I'm not talking about your chat right now. I'm talking about when people are out in the streets. You believed information about me that wasn't true. Why did you believe? Why did you believe before you watched the video that I was causing some sort of a problem? Where did you get the information that I was a problem? Where?
Fuck, man. I didn't. It was never my thing. How many times do I have to say that?
The information came to you somehow because you started pressing me as if
you wanted me to stand
up for you. You believed somebody else. No, I don't care if you came against me.
You wanted me to stand up for you. I didn't watch your content. I didn't fucking have time to watch your content.
I didn't want you to stand up for me. You came against me.
I don't care. I didn't go against you. I never said shit. I didn't care about you. You're not my fucking world, man. You never were.
Did you believe there was a moment in Sacramento when you believed that and you came against me?
Think at this point that you matter.
I forgive you if you would just fucking acknowledge the point. I can't even get the point across at what you did to me.
You've tried to
you believe lies against me. You believe lies about me and tried to throw me out. You tried to move against me.
In your minivan, as you traveled across the country in your different colored turbans, I didn't know what you were doing. I didn't care what you were doing. You were
and then one day you came against me. You tried to, dude. You like joined the mob against me.
You're trying to make this point. No, I didn't make
you
anything.
Did it to me.
I hadn't seen the fucking video because, like I just told you, I didn't care about you.
Then why did you go out of your way to press me? And you kept being like,
I didn't go out of my way to press you.
Yes, you did. You guys were all standing in the driver's circle.
Press you, cop.
You were all before you guys got egged for your fucking karma. Before that happened, that driver's meeting that day.
It's shit like that you say that really pisses me off. I'm going to mute you out. If you unmute yourself, I'm going to boot you out of here. Because it's shit like that when you say that. That tells me everything I need to know about you. Because one, freedom in this country to travel should not be impeded by anyone, including members of Antifa, the main one that was up on that bridge, John the Lefty, infamous anti-fascist leader up in Seattle, Portland area, who's, I think, being prosecuted again for violence, who attacked Andy No. Everyone knows who this person is, right? And so you're telling me that when they stand on a bridge and force traffic to stop because they're throwing paint-filled eggs, you're going to gaslight me that
That's
no,
not
they're
what I'm
not
talking
doing
about.
that?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm
That
talking
is
about the
what
other
you're talking
time.
about. When people are
No,
throwing eggs at you, yeah.
the other time,
that's
no,
exactly.
when you
So
guys
you're
did your
talking
little
about,
thing led by X-Ray and you went into downtown Sacramento, I believe, and there was like an egging. I don't know.
So those people didn't have the right to have their voice heard, that, you know, being violent and throwing eggs, whatever that violence is, you can decide for yourself. But that action is acceptable to you, tells me a lot about who you are, cop, because you're not willing to understand or allow everyone to have their voice. You only want one side to have a voice, if that's the way you're going to say it.
No, it's not. See, this is you and your lens. Dude, if people had been listening
that's what
to me,
you said.
you wouldn't have gotten
You
it.
said
It wouldn't have happened.
Pardon me?
You guys would, dude. You guys don't listen to the set. You can see the setup coming, and people come out and they say, "Dude, you guys are being set up." And then you tell them, and then they try to shoot the messenger.
What are you talking about?
Everything,
what are you
dude.
talking
The whole
about being set
attitude
up?
that I'm still calling out today. You guys are set up over and over by fucking emotional manipulation through YouTube and shit, especially when you're out in the streets being an activist.
No. You're talking about eggs, and now you're talking about what was the setup?
Life is a setup, dude. If you don't see the higher picture.
Oh,
that's
you're
okay.
so full of shit. Get the fuck out of here. I cannot take Truth or Cop and this just nonsensical discussion. It's fucking pointless. This guy, it really is. Tom,
yeah, and I'm gonna
I know you spend a lot of time with that guy. I don't know how the fuck you do
Actually, not really. No, recently he's resurfaced. He was gone for a while.
God.
But I just realized.
Painful.
Well, I was listening to you guys while I was doing stuff around the house, and I realized whenever he was saying, "Oh, we're being manipulated, we're being led around," like, well, there's a demographic of people that are, and then there's the rest of the people who aren't. And he's not going to change that, because it's like, I don't know if it's an intelligence level or what, but the people that are being psyoped and led around aren't going to be swayed by someone trying to snap them out of it. The CIA has been psyoping enemy countries for so long. You think they're not masterclass on their own people by now? Like,
yeah.
Truth, and you're right. Truth or Cop doesn't speak clearly, and whenever you narrowed it down, he didn't know what to even stand on, because I don't think he really knows what he's trying to do, because it's a non-thing. And this is where people get on Jack about wanting to end wars. It's like, it's not that simple as to just say, "Hey, stop wars." Don't you get it? Just don't war. And it's like, no, it's much more complex than that.
Yeah, no, it is. My fucking neighbor across the street, I went over there for a minute, and he's from the Dominican Republic, and we were sitting there talking about something, and it's like, "So you're gonna be out voting, right?" "Oh yeah." And I could tell he didn't want to have the conversation. I go, "Please tell me you're not voting for her." "Man, I got to. You know, he's kind of bouncing around and getting excited. I go, "Why? What is it?" And he just gets on the Trump hoaxes, all the hoaxes. And I'm like, "Man, you really did buy into all of this nonsense." And it baffles me. And Truth or Cop's worried about some chat messages in a live stream, right?
And for a guy that's saying we're emotionally swayed and being conned, right. Truth or Cop, you took the snafu snap side way late in the snafu career. Like, we were like, "Are you trolling right now when you call him an investigative journalist?" It's like, come on, dude.
Destroyer.
Yeah, Destroyer is a joke.
Yeah.
She is extreme. She is.
Yeah. It's funny.
But
somebody like
as
Destroyer
far
has
as
never shown up in my in
the
chat.
chat.
Well, no, they got booted out of the chat yesterday, but never, clicks the link to talk to me.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen Destroyer panel.
And I think that there's a reason why you won't.
Yeah, they're all-time chatters. They're the lowest tier, lowest credibility.
Yeah.
They could be a number of names that you don't know they're all those names.
Sure. Right.
But as far as the election,
I don't forget voices, Tommy. I didn't forget Julie's voice yesterday. And she finally at the end was like, yeah, I came up. I was like, okay, I knew she did. I don't forget voices. I know voices. I can't remember everybody's names all the time. I never forget faces. I don't forget voices. It'll drive me nuts for a long time until I figure it out. But I know. Anyway.
My only thing on the candidates is I know there's a lot of division over who votes who, but on the core issues that are going to decide the direction of America, they're both already low-key aligned as far as instating crypto and the cashless and probably their stance on foreign affairs. The things that are really going to make the future, usually both parties are low-key already aligned on. They like to voice the things we argue about, but the things they agree on, they don't talk about that much.
No. Going back to Truth or Cop. Okay, he's sitting backstage. I don't give as much weight.
Say those things to him if you want to bring them up.
Okay. I don't give weight as much as he's trying to imply that a super chat in every stream realm can have the same effect. Like what I believe he is trying to imply is that super chats changed my behavior when I was live streaming. And I don't know if he's trying to imply that somehow, and I heard him say this at the end of his stream last night, which irritates the fuck out of me because he wants to minimize what occurred at WYSIWYG and somehow blame me for it because I was there.
I don't like
I put myself in danger. I should have known better. I should have known that I was going to get attacked by 12 people simultaneously. Like that's okay somehow for him, So
and
don't forget
don't forget the cement milkshakes. I know you guys were talking about the paint eggs. Don't forget the cement milkshake. But I just don't like that a lot of these posts from Jack to Truth or Cop, they just speak for everyone. Like we're getting this. They're making us.
I'm speaking for myself. I'm speaking for myself about what Wizzy did to me in live panelverse fashion, except for it was in IRL timing.
And that's between you and Wizzy, but just off of some of your points, Truth or Cop, I've had people super chat me and I've blocked them. Like, oh, thanks, block. Like super chats don't sway me, but I know I'm 1 in a million compared to the status quo, but I stick to my guns and I'm not easily swayed. And there's people like me. And like I was saying, the people that are swayed, I don't think you can change that.
Yeah, I'm just looking for Wizzy to understand what he did.
Yeah, but your
clearly
like mission statement is you were trying to snap the truckers out of it and warn the truckers, and then you were warning J6. It's like they're kind of going to do what they're going to do at that point. If they're going to show up in DC to march on a building, Truth or Cop's probably not going to sway that.
Yeah, of course. So you tell them 10 years ahead of time so that maybe by the time that something comes around, eventually people will snap out of it. It's not going to change immediately.
10 years, they're already bum rushing 2030 to earlier. You don't have 10 years. We'll be back at Surf and Nobles by then. If we all don't die on the same day, that is. I love saying that.
Second time I've heard you say that, Tommy.
Huh?
It's the second time I've heard you say that.
Yeah, it's one of my catchphrases, like around on the street and stuff. Like when I just talk to strangers, I'm like, "Hey, we're all probably gonna die on the same day." You know that, right? But Denver's one of these cities, man. Ever since the stay homes, there's something that never corrected. Like it stayed weird out here, and then we had the Venezuelans and the things. I'm enjoying the experience of being here, but it's definitely surreal.
I see. That is strange.
It's psyops. They're psyoping the whole country.
It can't be just more simplified than that.
Well, I would make it more complex. Yeah.
People in power want to remain in power, and they use technology. They've always used modern technology to achieve that aim.
Well, they're actually changing hands of power as we go cashless. That's kind of what that is. The banks are dying, and they won't come back. Your phone, you're going to be your own bank on your phone. But then you have CBDCs, a few different cryptos. Things are changing.
And then you have people working on, bigger scales than I am to plant Jack Talcott over here in WYSIWYGs. Okay. So if I could achieve that out in the open, just having fun, what are people working to put together behind the scenes? That's all I'm pointing at, dude. I'm not even saying you do it, or you did it once to me, and I've done it to Tommy, and me and Tommy worked it out, I believe, and he still thinks that I'm on some old kick or whatever.
No, I don't. I'm not saying like you're on an old kick. I'm also trying to get to where I can. I don't even want to say help you, because Jack and everybody wants to say help. I'm just trying to help communicate, understand. And if you're on that Christian tip like me, you should know you're not going to change some of these things.
I never called myself a Christian, but what I'm saying is that
talk a lot like that.
Oh, I can talk how I want.
Oh, and before I forget where I was going earlier, I think they're going to give us another stay home. I think they're going to make us stay home again in the relatively near future. Might not even be over.
And what indicators are out there that make you think that?
Whenever me and some circles are assessing possible black swans for this switch to cashless. Because some banks are collapsing in America, and we are usually the last ones after Japan and certain other countries. Those are indicative that we're next in line in the dominoes.
I see. I'm trying to find where to unban you, because I think that's what I did, Tommy. And I can't find banned accounts on my... it's the weirdest thing. I don't know why. It's not a place I visit very often.
It's actually good for me sometimes not to be able to chat, because I would prefer to go up on a panel when I'm only going to go up if it's important enough, and I don't want to get stuck. Sometimes I'll just chat away in a show and it's wasting my time, so I don't care. Blocking the chat. Now, I kind of cared whenever I realized over on Truther Cop it was Carl that banned me. Then I was kind of like, no, fuck that. But
yeah, that's gotta hurt just a little bit.
Speaking of which, I got to go back through the list. He probably just timed you out.
And there is like between StreamYard and YouTube, I think there's 3 lists. Whenever you count the banning from hitting the link, there is 3 different lists you got to know how to find.
Yeah. Settings.
Oh, one's in YouTube settings.
Community.
From the studio.
There it is. There it is. There it is. I finally found it. Approved users. Huh.
I was just mad yesterday on Truther Cop. I was
Al
throwing out
Munson and Troll Central as approved users. Huh.
Troll Central is an approved user?
Yeah. I think I
never get drunk and moderate your channel.
No. I think I did that because they cried about being blocked, and approved users, hidden. Oh, here it is, hidden users. And to make sure that they could get back
Now, Truth or Cop, as I watch you come back to just start cucking up to Carl and Destroyer and those people all over again, you realize they're still just doing the same packaged thing they do. Sit in the chat, tell you to calm down, act like they're getting to you even when they're not, display false narratives and spin things. Like, they're not legit. They're just almost like sociopathic.
It's a cute opinion.
You kind of roboted, what'd you say?
I said that's a cute opinion.
But but it's an accurate assessment. And what I've slandered, how the direction your channel's taken, I've said I strongly see that it's because you put too much weight on their alliance, if you will.
Hey, Tommy, do me a favor real quick and post a comment, will you?
Okay, hold on. I'll do a live chat, Boomer. Chatty. Okay, I think that's actually an admin.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's back. It worked.
All right, cool.
I pulled a whole bunch of people out of there.
And you can self-assess if you're on a channel, if you chat and then switch it between live and top chat, if your stuff disappears, you're muted.
That's an interesting.
Or maybe if you refresh the page, it'll do it too.
Yeah, there used to be other ways to check to see if you were, if you couldn't delete your comment, that meant that it wasn't seen anyway, right? But then that disappeared, that ability.
And I start to realize it when I know I'm dropping chat gems in the usual, whether haters or lovers, when they're not giving me any response. Like, wait, am I visible?
Yeah, you were blocked, and so was Brett.
You know,
Brett was also blocked. I unblocked you both.
Broccoli's still around? I ain't seen that Broccoli.
He's in the chat right now, dude.
I mean, it doesn't bother me. I just haven't seen him. I feel like I really agree with him on stuff, but as soon as we socially interact, it just goes south, like with most Canadians that I interact with. Something about a country founded on absolute default nothingness. Like, oh, they're over there, we're here. Okay, we'll just be a thing. I think a lot of it's that. And the polite really doesn't go very far anymore. Like, we've always been like, yeah, Canadians, so polite. Now it's kind of like, who cares? Now that we know so many Canadians, it doesn't count.
I'm fairly certain Brett's aiming to break that stigma.
Yeah, he is a little extreme on the mod god. But, and I usually don't go enemy of my enemy, my friend. I would go to bat for Brett against, like, the G crew and stuff. I really doubt he's taking stances as bad as the G crew.
Wow. On that note, I'm going to say goodnight, guys. I'm going to go do some dinner and get some stuff going, but it's always an interesting time. Truth or Cop, I hope we can work our way through our disagreements. Some people. I'm just looking at comments here. But Auto Star Super Chats, that's pretty cool. Anyway, thank you, Groff, for that Super Chat. I do appreciate you. I appreciate all of you hanging out. It's been fun. You know, it's always very off the cuff, and you never know where these streams are going to go. Malancy just says, it's only 1:40 here. I get that. It's 4:40 here on the East Coast, and yeah, have some fun. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Wizzy out. Bye, everybody.